I'll put the data set in, I'll put it over here in the data set where the Kickstarter project, Superstore, marketing, and everything was there. And I'll call it as assessment data set.
Nishani, could you please upload that PPT as well?
I have not created it.
I mean,
make it.
Not okay.
Which, oh, you want the entire thing in one day?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
broken
that's
page.
it.
That I'll
Yeah,
do.
that's
And right
it.
away, right now only let me do it. Assessment data set.
It is in Power BI folder, right?
Power BI classroom, yes.
Okay.
And it came out. Assessment. So they in the data, you will have two files as usual, or not two files, sorry, there's a bunch of files: inventory, product, sales, and store. And so I'm attaching this, and then there is the case study. No, I am not supposed to give you the case study, sorry. The data set, that's all I have to give to you. Forgot. So this is the data. And then the final PPT you want from my side.
Hello. System stuck.
Sorry, my internet got disconnected. So like I was saying, keep your Tableau workbooks ready so that at least we can start working on it immediately while I'm uploading it. If you could open the workbooks, then that would be helpful. So yesterday we understood the relationships, and today we're going to talk about in Tableau itself, if we want not just the sometimes the data sets are such that we don't want only the relationship won't work. So we would want to have joins the way it is working in Tableau. So how do you do that? Before we go there are two layers in which Tableau exists. One is called a logical layer and one is called a physical layer. Okay, the place where you guys are creating the relationships, it's called the logical layer. So what I'm talking about is over here, when you have the data source and we said, okay, I want to bring the returns table to create the relationship between returns and order. I want to bring the people's table to create a relationship between orders and returns and orders and people. This layer in which we are working right now, this is called a logical layer. Okay, underneath the logical layer is a physical layer where exactly your joins are happening. So there are certain data sets, like if I'm going to give you an access database data set in which you will see that relationships are not getting created. It has still not that data set is still not compatible in the versions of Tableau where they introduce relationship. So for that, we still need to work in the physical layer and create the joins like we would have done in the earlier time. So how do you go to that layer? How do you create a join? Let's do that today. So over here, let's say I have one table already uploaded called orders. When I'm going to double click on that table, this layer in which I am is called a physical layer. And over here, it says order is made of one table. Order table is given over here. Okay. And once you bring a table over here, like how, I think Vivek was showing his screen yesterday. This is how we used to work in Tableau 2 years back, I think 1.5 to 2 years back, where we used to work with joins. So by default, what it does, just like in how in relationship, it's able to identify what is a common column. In joins also, it's able to identify the common column. And by default, it applies an inner join on it. So do you remember these Venn diagrams? You all are aware of the Venn diagrams, right?
Yes.
Yes, Ishani.
Yes.
Right? So this is an inner join. But if I want to change, you click over here. I can change the inner join to a left join, right? Or a right or a full outer. And over here, only one field is used to create a join between two tables. But is it necessary that I will always have only one field? Or it may vary? You always have only one field creating joins between two tables?
No, it may be very.
It can be multiple.
It can be multiple, right? So think concept of a composite key, correct? So over here, if I have done it by region and if I wanted to use more column to create a join, then I'm just going to add over here new join clause and pick the field which I want and map it against the field in the other table. Okay, so this is how we create a join in Tableau. We are going to bring the table. By default, it does an inner join. Whatever join type you want, you select that. It does a mapping based on a common column. If the names are different, then probably Tableau will not be able to recognize that. But other than that, it does a good job. And if you want to add more columns for the work, then you can put the join clause over here. Clear? Yes.
Ishani, sorry, I missed it. Can you repeat once more from the beginning quickly? Sorry.
Very quickly, we typically work in this layer. This is called a logical layer. Sometimes some of the databases, one example is Access databases, they do not support the concept of relations. Relations came later. Tableau initially used to work with joins, just like how you saw in Power BI also and you saw in SQL also. So in order to move back to a physical layer, we double click on the table. This is a physical layer. And you bring the table over here. It creates an inner join by default. Always do a check on which field it has created. And then we decided, I would say I would want a left join to get a useful output out of it. So I can create a left join here. And if I wanted to bring returns, I can drop returns also. Let's see. This is one part I don't enjoy too much. I don't want to. Joining, I don't like. I like relationships over here too. I don't want to create a union. Oh, come on. Please join. Finally. And let's say I wanted this also ever. Let's join, and it is joined through order ID. So this is the process of joining. Clear? In relationship, we don't talk about what kind of join we are doing. It depends on what visualization you're creating. Tableau by itself does the SQL commands in the backend and get the visualization that you want. So this is a concept of joining. I'm not going in a lot of depth in joins because I think we have done it multiple places. Any questions regarding joins? If you have any questions, let me know. I can clarify.
Ishani, can you explain that? I know you explained it a lot, but where you have told that, we can take more than 2 common keys.
Sure.
Any
So for
example, if you
example,
can.
yeah, absolutely. All these examples, I definitely keep it with me. So for example, for example, let's look at this table where I think I've given this table also to you guys also, where I have got information about the airlines, the financial period of 2015 and 16, which regions they operated and what was the revenue in that particular region. Okay. Similarly, I have airline 2 in which it's talking about the same information that, okay, what is the financial year 15-16, what are the regions it's operating and what's the revenue. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now let's say we wanted to compare the revenue of airline 1 and airline 2. Right? So 2 tables are there. In order to compare them, can I have them as 2 independent tables or do I need to create a relationship?
We can create a relationship.
You have to create a relationship, right? For comparison, they have to be together. Then only I'll be able to, if they're side by side, then only I can compare it. Otherwise, I can't compare them. So I have to create a relationship. Now, which column would you use to create a relationship? Region. Region.
Yes, a region,
If you're
yes.
doing it on region, then what it is going to do, it's going to club all the 2015 and 16 together. Financial records, financial year has no relevance. Is that correct way of understanding the data?
No.
No. Then
we have to take period as well.
yes, because if I do financial year, it mixes all the regions together. If I take region, it mixes my financial year. But if I'm going to compare it, it has to be done on the financial year and the region basis. That's how you will compare it. So in this case, there's not one key by which I can link it. There's not one field by which I can create a join, but 2 joins, 2 fields to join, which is period and region. Is it clear to all? I can quickly show it to you, and you guys have this data set in order to practice also. So I'll just show it to you quickly over here, and then you can try it also later on. So I'm going to connect to this data. It's an Excel database. Okay, so I've brought airline 1. The data has come. I'm going to create a relationship between airline 1 and airline 2. Now it is giving me a error message. Why? Because it's not able to understand the fields. So let's say if I say let's connect it to the years. Year of this is equal to year of this. Just because the names are not same, it is not able to create a join. I've done only one column. Now, when I wanted to compare the sales, if I say, okay, I want it based on the period, based on the region, I want the revenue of airline 1, I want the revenue of airline 2. Tell me if you see a problem in it. Is it correct, incorrect? Does it look correct? 2015, airline 2, all the regions made equal amount of revenue. Is that a possibility? In 2016, all the years did the similar revenue.
No.
Sure.
This
No.
is wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I had only joined through the period. Now, let's do the other one. Let's say not through the period, but let's make it through region. So I'm going to pick region and I'm going to pick region over here. Now let's go and see. Now does it look correct?
Yes.
No.
There
Both
are
the
same
financial years are looking
financial years.
same. Both
Revenue are
financial
same.
years are same now. It doesn't look like we made any progress in 2016. There's no difference. Correct? Because now what it did, it clubbed based on the region. So whatever is the region in the first one will be the region in the second one. Because financial years have nothing to do with it. Correct? So even this visualization is wrong. Sanjeet, is it making sense?
Yes, yes. I can see
Right?
that.
So this
yeah.
is also wrong. And now if I do based on both, so I'm saying, okay, region is there, add one more field. And this time I want the period and the year also to be considered in making my relationship. And now when you look at it, now it is correct. Okay. Now you see 4 nulls are there. Is it 4 nulls should be there or not there?
Yes,
It should be there. Why is it there and why it was important? See, now when I'm working in relationship, I don't have to think too much because the joins are created in the back end. But if you were working with joins and you did an inner join, would have been wrong.
Sorry,
Because if
Ishani,
you would have done,
sorry,
yes,
question. What is this 4 nulls actually represent?
4 nulls is
yeah.
because there
These
is no
blanks?
value in not,
Okay.
yes, the
Okay.
blank values that it has upon creation of the join.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what I was saying, if you would have done an inner join, now relationship saves you from all these kind of problems that you can do while doing analysis. If you would have done an inner join on this data, would it be the right output? You can't think of it. Let me
Will-
help you to think on it, that why, whoever created this relationship, how much burden the person has taken away from you guys. So for example, if we were doing a physical relationship and we draw pay line 2 and we said, okay, there is not on revenue, but on year, we want to create a join, number 1. And then based on region, we want to create a join. Correct? Where is the region over here? Above. Yes. Correct what I did?
Yes, yes.
yes.
Wait. Taken away the previous one. Here. What am I doing? Multiples. Yeah. Right. And I do an inner join because the years are common, regions are common, and I close it. Now, when I do that and I go over here, this is the output I'm getting. Does this look correct?
Few regions are missing.
Few regions are missing, right? So
And
it
null
feels
Because-
like, yes, airline 1,
yeah.
airline 2, I can compare, but it does not show that airline 2 does not cater to certain regions with airline 1 is. So
Yes,
that's
because
the
it's-
miscommunication we are doing.
It's only picking the common ones, right?
Correct. And even if you would have done a left join, it would have depended more on which
More
table
on-
you put on left.
Yes.
Right? So all these problems of thinking and doing things have been removed completely by the introduction of relations. Now all you have to do is you create your relationships, you tell which field to match with what, and it does the rest of the painful work. So that's what I was saying, is that you should know that how lucky you guys are, that yes, we need to know the concept of joins, but we don't really have to worry too much also for this, because it kind of does its work. Clear, guys?
Yes, Shan.
For everyone, is it clear? Sagat, Shikhar, Arshad,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Abhishek,
Yeah.
right?
Shani,
Radha,
how can we
Ankit,
have
yes.
how can we have the same picturization with the physical table?
How
Is
can
it
we
out?
have the
Is it
same?
full? Is it full join? Full outer join?
This one,
Yeah.
you could have, we can do a left join, but we will have to make sure we can do a left join, but we'll have to make sure airline 1 is first on the left hand side and then airline 2, or do a full outer join.
Okay.
When you do left and right, then you have to be very careful which table we are loading first also.
Yeah.
But in this case, full outer join is a safer one.
Ishani, because this data is small, but if in case the data is too big, then
Right.
the problem
How do you
would be there.
identify?
How do you
See,
find which join?
typically what I do is, if my data sets are big, I do a quick record count on it. Let's say one has about 3 lakh rows of data, another one has 3 lakh 200 rows of data. So I would know I want to take the larger one first on the left side and I do a left join, or I do a full outer join.
Okay, but
Does
then
it make sense?
yeah, that is true. But if in case uh, in the other table there are certain you know regions where which is not common to the first one.
That's what I'm saying. The best thing is do a full outer join in these cases. Then you're getting for both. But like, if you remember Power BI, I know Sekal said let's not confuse ourselves, but I'm referring to the data set. That if you remember that data set, we had the sales data and we were attaching the customer data. That was a clear-cut thought process, right? It has to be a left join.
Yeah.
Over there, full outer join did not make sense because some customers, I have 5,000 customers, but let's say only 4,500 people bought in those 3 years. So why would I have an additional 500 people there? So it varies from business problem to business problem, but these are the common things, learning how to create a join is easy. Learning what are the different type of joins are easy. But what I've seen people struggling is in actual data and actual business problem with join to apply.
Yeah.
That place I've seen people struggling. Okay. So there you have to be very clear with what is the business problem also you're referring to.
Yeah, Ishan, that is what I was actually thinking. Means in a real case scenario, means you actually showed us in this case, like, okay, it is overlapping. I mean, it's giving the same record. I'm just wondering, probably it clicks on our mind that somewhere the records are wrong because we just hit on a, like, we are doing it a quick snap basis and we forget that, okay,
Right.
it's not doing the right or giving the right output. So yeah, I think
Right.
that's very critical.
It is very, very critical. And that's where, now I'm not making you spend too much time on the data, but if you remember Power BI classes, we spend a lot of time on understanding normalization, data, ER diagram, because that pretty much is the base for the entire analytics industry. Like when you're working with data, with or without the word analytics in it, when you're working with data and multiple tables, this database understanding and how to create relationship between the databases, this is the most critical knowledge that we should possess. Otherwise, you may be fantastic in creating beautiful dashboards, but if the relationships are not correct, the tables are not correct, all the visualization is actually going to indicate you wrong.
Yeah.
So spend a lot of time in understanding the data and understanding relationship between the data. Very important, very key thing that we have to do. Okay, so that's why when you asked me, give us the data, I said, okay, do it. It's good. If you spend more time with the data, it's better. No problem. All right, Sanjeet, I hope it's clear now.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much. Thanks.
Okay. So coming back, now let's try to finish those 4 questions that I have given. Can somebody help me with the questions?
5 questions.
5 questions. Can you help me with the question? What was number 1?
How many customers do each manager have? Just simple.
Okay, so manager-wise customers, how we would do it? We have people, and then
customer
we
ID.
have customer ID, and on this customer ID, we can just do a distinct count through measures. Distinct count, and if we want to flip it,
Yes.
hold on, we can flip it because it's a smaller amount of data. And over here, you can see the distinct count of the customers. Basic things that we should do, like this is a smaller data set to try to put the labels on top of it. If I'm seeing manager-wise data or anything, sorting really improves the end user experience, because why would I be looking at this to understand who has more customer base, right? So if you sort the visualization, it becomes better. So this is customer base. What was the next question?
Show the trend of returns in region basis.
Return trend.
In region as well.
Okay, so return trend, what do you want? Order date. And if you put order ID and distinct count, I think it is already distinct count, but just to be sure, doing a count distinct and putting on a line chart, this is giving you a better understanding of how the returns have happened And we can do it
Actually, it
on
is
the
on region
month
basis.
level basis. On the
Region basis.
region
Region
basis.
basis.
So you can put region
So
in
the
the
trend.
filter,
Yes.
right? Makes sense to put region in the filter, show the filter, and probably I am a big lover of single value lists. So I'll pick this one. So we can identify in which region what has been the trend. This is the overall trend. Okay. So this will be regional trend of returns. What else was there?
Which country has the highest returns?
Ishani, could you please show the second one?
Sure. The another thing you guys need to be cognizant about what makes sense to do. Like for example, I could have put region over here also. But does it do a value addition to the visualization, or it causes chaos to my visualization? This is more chaotic, right? It's not doing any value addition. To look at all of them all at the same time of multiple years is chaotic. So it was better that we used it in the filter part, and over here then we gave the user to be able to pick one at a time and look at the data. Arshad, clear?
Yes.
So, Shani,
Okay.
putting region in colors will also create a chaotic one.
Because there are 4 lines over 5 years. So just to see one by one,
It'll be better.
It'll better if it's individually looked at. Because see, if they were related to each other, right? For example, if you remember, we created this chart. Now this is not bad. Why this is not bad? Because these are all related to each other. In the sense, I want to see 11, 12, 13, 14, how the behavior is impacting. I wanted to see seasonality in it. So this I need. But over here, ideally, they are all independent. Like it's not necessary whatever is the behavior of Central Asia will be of North Asia.
Yeah.
Correct? So that's why over here, if I look at individual graphs, that's much better for me versus if I look at them together. Okay. The country with the highest sales. So I need the country data set. And where's the country? Where did my country go? Which data set is this? Can you see my country?
In returns table.
How come it went in returns? There's something wrong with this.
So we have in this orders as well.
Aha, the power of joins. Remember, what did I say? If I ask you what's the difference between a join and a relationship, what would be that answer? What's the key difference between a join and a relationship?
Join states the common column, relationship states the number of records.
But other than that, something more. Joins are going to bring your data to the other table.
Right? You're
Right?
breaking the data together. Right?
They're going to make your joins are going to make your tables wider. Relationships are not doing that. In relationship, the table remains as it is, as it was initially. That's why I'm looking at so many things in the repetition, and I was thinking, what did I do? So that's why we don't want remove it. It's going to give me some error because I've used this. Move it back, people, and returns. And now if I look at my sheet, now it is much neat and clean to look at. I have my orders table and only orders data over here. I have my people data and return table. right? You understood why? The reason I understood that what mistake I did, because I started to see orders data over here. So because of joins, the columns of the other table would appear over here. But if I do relationship, they stay independent. Like no data is brought from one table to another table. Sometimes clear. Shikhar,
Yes, yes.
Sitaram, Vivek, Tanu, Yash, Suman,
Yes, Shani.
Kshitij.
Shani, sorry, can you go back to the return trend? For a sec. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
All right. So for the highest country with the highest return, I want the country and then what?
Count of returns.
Count of
Returns.
return ID from return ID table, right?
Yes.
From the returns table of order ID and then again convert it into a distinct count. Let's put it on a map. So which one has the highest returns?
China.
China. This is the darkest, this has the highest returns. And then Sanjeet's favorite part, animation. So if I put like year over here, then we can see over the period of years how the return has been. So consistently, China has been the top country which has done the maximum returns. Shweta, you look confused.
No, I'm not confused. It's my network is not proper. So
Oh, okay. So
I'm
this
not
can give
aware.
us,
I'm not aware.
Ishani,
okay.
I'm little bit confused.
So this is
Yesterday I
going to
have
clear
missed
up.
this class.
Okay. Watch it over the weekend.
Yes, I will watch it over the weekend and then I'm not able
And
to
if you have any
understand where from
questions,
where.
let me know.
Yes. Okay.
What is happening? Magic.
Yes.
Don't worry, it's very simple. It's very, very simple, Ashish. Watch it over the weekend. And Tuesday, whatever
Okay.
doubts you have, we will start the class by clarifying it.
Okay. Thank you.
Shani, my country is not showing
Yes,
me
sir.
separately. Your country is not showing separately in tables, order tables. Can I share my screen?
It is not showing separately. It's coming as a hierarchy, right?
Hierarchy. Yes.
Yeah, just click on the arrow. See, if I close it, if I collapse it, it's coming like this. If I open it, it shows me all the three things inside it.
Yeah, if I'm click on arrow, so it's showing only country one.
Country one.
Yes.
Did you do join or relationships?
Here I have changed to relationship. Previously it was join. Now I
Okay,
have
let me see your screen. Let me check your screen once. Okay. Let me see what you're talking about. Go to any particular visualization that you're trying to create. Country one. Where are the states and all? Region one. Uh, person one. Why these ones are coming? Scroll down a little bit. On the left side, just scroll down. Okay, that's okay. Even if it's not coming, you can push it to a hierarchy. Don't worry. Right, click on the state. Go to state. Click on over there. There's a drop down. Go to state. 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 Down. 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 The field, the dimension called state. Not here. The dimension called state. Go down. Where you have segment, shift, date, shift, mode, state. Click on the drop down.
Is this one?
Yep. Click on the drop down. There should be something called hierarchy. Go there. From the bottom, yes. And add to hierarchy. And there. Click here. And same thing you can do with the city also. Click. Now that will go inside. And same thing on the top, you have category and city. You can push the city also in the hierarchy. All right.
All right. Thank you,
Okay,
Ishan.
you're welcome. And next was what? Return sales, right?
No, loss in sales due to return.
Due to return sales, loss in sales.
Ishani,
So
Like-
over here,
Ishani, one question. That animation, the slider, isn't working automatically. Means we have to push it.
yeah, it
but we have-
works for me, but I know in your versions it's not working.
Yeah, it's not working automatically.
It's
Oh.
not working in your version.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
not working in mine also.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not working on your versions, but otherwise it does work automatically.
It's due to public.
No, in public also it works. I don't know how come. I don't know if I don't have the latest public version. So it might be in the latest public version it's disabled because that's what you have. So I'll ask one of my students and check with them if animation is working on their system or not.
Okay.
All right, how would you calculate the return sales?
Loss in sales.
Loss, yeah.
Yeah, I have put sum and return and 265 loss is showing. And you so told to make it as card, right?
As a card. So we don't have a concept of card. So this is total sales. Right?
we can put
Now I
return.
want sales with respect to what? Only with respect to the order IDs of return. So I'll put that in the filter. And do I want all?
No.
I want all except for null. Why null is coming up over here? Anyone? Why do you see a null?
Because not all the items has been returned.
Because not all the quantity, all the order numbers have been returned, right? So remember, we have already created a relationship between these two tables. So they have started to talk to each other. So these, when we are working with it, it's not just going to show you the IDs of the return. It's showing you of both. And over here, we are talking about only these IDs and not the null value. So if I click OK over here, now this is coming as 265, 537. This is the return loss, like sales, return sales value, which is typically a loss that you're looking at. Is this part
Shani.
clear, guys? What I did in filters?
Show it again, Shani.
Show it again. So if I don't put this thing, what am I getting? This is the total sales, sum of sales,
Yes, yes.
right? Now, do I want to look at all the sales? No. I want to look at the sales which have been returned. Now, how will I get return data? I have got this table of returns in which I have the order IDs, right? Now,
Yeah.
since the order table and return table is related to each other now, correct?
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
I drop over here, now order ID is showing two things. One is the order numbers. Now, why these order numbers are showing up? Because these are in return table. But there are more order numbers, right?
Yes.
They were allowed, I think, 1,500 orders, and out of that, 296 is returned. So do you want to pick all the orders?
No.
No, I don't want to pick the null ones. Why? Because
Okay.
the ones that are null are
Mhm.
belonging to which were not returned.
Okay, now got it.
Okay.
Ishani?
So, yes.
Yes, second way which I did it instead of there's a column field name returned. I just dropped
You can
return
drop.
and remove the yes ones.
Yes, same thing. Now, usme bhi yes and no. How did yes and no come? No would have not been there because return table, if you look at it, has only yes. So no came because of the other table. It's the same concept. One way we have to do it, right? Yeah, that is easier to understand, I guess.
Yes.
So what Shweta is talking about, instead of using order ID, she used returned. And returned is yes. So again, instead of no, there is null. Where is the null coming from? From rest of the order IDs which were not returned. So we
Yes.
are looking at returned ones.
Yes.
So we'll click yes and get it up.
That's it.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Any other question left?
Fifth.
Which is
Performance of manager
Uh,
over the year.
manager performance. So manager performance would be I need a person and I need the sales, and I need the order ID, order date, sorry. So this, and if I make it based on month, and then you can make a line chart, area chart we can work with.
This one will
So
work.
see area,
This one is better rather than the
yeah.
line.
So this is better. So we can use a area chart to see, okay, how did Alex perform versus Maribeth, and how did Nora perform versus Sanjeev. This can be the manager performance over the years. Okay, or I don't know if this is going to be, I think, colors. No, I don't want colors. Month, year, person one. If I put them in the,
I have used the line chart one, the second line chart. But in the yearly, I have not the month wise.
and if I hit like this, Shweta,
No, I have that in different.
like how?
I have kept
This is so definitely bad. This is bad.
Yes.
If anybody has done this, is bad.
No, this is I have not.
If anybody has done this, this is okayish. But if you want to do a comparison, we typically would want them to look together. So area chart would be a good thing to use over here. All right, all questions done. Any questions for me? And I'm going to save it and upload this file today. Okay, now you guys have one more data set. So let me make you go through that. Okay, we are going to work with this data set called Amazing Mart EU. You have this? All of you have this data set? Yes?
Yes.
I have
Okay.
not checked.
Check. The first one, you should be able
Yes.
to do it yourself. Show the monthly sales by segment. So that you can do. And before we move over there, one quick thing, okay? One quick thing, not very technical, very easy. The application of how you create union in Tableau. It's very simple. So let us do that first. Now, I don't want to add any, give you any question on it. It's fairly simple. And I'll try to do the union on the other data set that I used in Power BI, where we had the multiple sales, just to show you how union is done. It's fairly simple. So over there, let's say if I had to pick my, I think union is easier to cover in this time versus blending. So remember, I had these many files, and if I select one particular file, all files are over here. Right now, I can see only 2015 data. But if I wanted to bring 2016 and 17, combine all the sales value and then work with the sales, then I need to do a union. Now, how to do a union is fairly simple. One way is that this table is already there, 2015, you take 2016 and don't make that noodle thing, just try to place it on top of it. When you do, shows you the word union at the bottom and it will do a union of it. So 2016 is also there, and I can go to 2017 and I can drop 2017. So now you see I will have all the data. No, it did not. Sorry, my bad. I'm just replacing the tables as of now. So 2015, and where you see the word union, make sure it becomes orange and then you leave it. Now it is showing the symbol of union, and 2017, drop it in the union area. So I have 2015 as well as 2017 data set would be there. If I increase the number of rows, let's say 60,000 rows, if I show up, then I will be able to see all the data sets over here. Okay. And as in when you're creating the union, then also you get to know. So for example, and you can do it through new union. This window also you can work with. One part of it is manual, meaning you're dropping one by one. And as in when you're dropping 3 tables in union and we click OK. So the 3 tables get created, 9 feeds, 56,000 rows of data. Okay. Or the other way, like we were trying to do, where I don't have all the tables, I just have one table. And what I can do is drop the field over here in the union part. So you can see it starts with 2,630 rows. Once you create the next union, it's 26,000 rows. And after that, there's 56,000 rows of data. All right. So this is one way. Now, let's say if there were a lot of tables, not just 3 and 4 tables, which I can easily drag and create it. Because both the ways I taught you, it's manual. If I had a lot of tables, then we can also take a use of wildcard. Now in wildcard, if I had to include all the tables, remember the functionality of a folder in Power BI? Similarly, if all the values, all the tables that I want to create a union on is sitting in a single folder, then you can come to this wildcard and in include files, leave it blank. Because if you leave it blank, it includes all. Anything that is in the folder, it gets union. Okay, you can say you can expand to a subfolder and a parent folder if you have to. And then we click OK. Now, once I did that, automatically you will see it has got the 56,000 rows of data. Is this clear? What we are doing in the wildcard? If I have a folder and in that folder I have 10 files, I want to do a union of all the 10 files. So rather than dragging them one by one, I can simply leave it blank, the include part, and it does a union for me. Got it?
Yes, Shani.
Yeah. Or if I had some, like the usage of wildcard characters, let's say I wanted to combine the sales. Let's say I have multiple customers or the clients, and each year data is kept in a separate table. Now I want to pick every the data of ABC customer. So I can put ABC asterisk. So any file which is ABC asterisk, it may be ABC 2016, ABC 2017, whatever the ending may be, but it begins with ABC, automatically we get picked up. And similarly, you can do star ABC. Same thing, anything which ends with ABC will get picked up. So over here, you can use your wildcard characters of asterisk. So union is fairly, simple in, I think, all the platforms. Any questions in union?
Ishani, in this only, what does this checkboxes, 2 checkboxes were there?
Which checkbox?
Yes,
over here.
expand, yes.
So your folders are there, right?
Yeah.
So like say there's a Power BI folder, then there's Adventure Works, then there's a CSV file, then the AWS.
Yes.
Right? So it keeps searching in the subfolder and the parent folder. So if it's showing you parent folder, it is taking as D drive, IV, data analytics, KPO, all these things.
Yeah.
Right? So it is going to expand its horizon, and like say you're given a wildcard character of ABC star. If it's not in this folder, then it goes to the parent folder and also does a search for this kind of file or the table, and if it finds, it adds in your union.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what it is doing.
So it is automatically picking up the data.
It is picking because you've connected in Power BI, in Tableau. You've already connected, so when you're connecting, it's pretty much knowing the path.
Okay.
Path है,
If
like
we
you
are
can have
not
5
connected,
softwares, right?
if we haven't connect this file,
Then
then
you
how
won't have
will
any table. Then you can't. If there's no file, what will it connect to?
okay, okay.
The
Okay.
first thing of Tableau is what you need to connect to the data set, right?
Mhm.
First thing when you open the window, you have to do connections.
Yes.
So your files would be there.
Oh,
So right now, all of them are sitting in one folder. What if only 2015 was what I've selected and I have to pick others? Then I can use this. Okay. Or let's say all these sales files were sitting in one folder. Now I don't want customer, I don't want territory, I don't want product, subcategory and category to be union. I want the sales to be union. Then I can put something like asterisk sales asterisk, so that in front whatever the value is, sales underscore whatever the year is, all my sales file gets clubbed together. Make sense?
Yes, Ishan.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the concept of union. Now, what I would like you to do before we wrap up the session today, if you could, do this question, look at the data first and do the first part of it and save this work on Tableau Public, so that next time when we meet, we are able to work with this target sales. If you want to try it by yourself, you can. And if you want, I can also, I'll upload this PPT also in Tableau. Okay, so try to do this question, amazing mark data set. Try to do the first one, show the monthly sales by segment. And while you're doing that, you will have to go through what are the tables, what data is kept where in order to do it.
Ishani,
Hmm?
what's the difference when we add as a new data source versus a connection?
Over here.
Yes.
So what is the difference? See, when you are doing it as a new data source, we are taking them as a primary and a secondary data. And then whatever changes I'm doing in one data source, it is unaffected by the second data source. Versus if you're adding connections, they all are going to come up over here as one source of data, and then you're working on them together. I don't know if that makes sense. So you will see the difference when we are going to do blending, because for blending, we are going to pick the new data source and make two data source and then connect them.
So for this adventure work union of all the years, we will do the connection part or the data source as a data source?
We will do as a data source part. No. We will do as a connection part, because once you've done a union on sales, then you want others to get connected to it, right? So ultimately, you're converting into one single data source. So we will do add over here. Kunjan?
Yes, and when we do the add, the file do comes up, but what about the existing relationships?
That remains as it is. No problem would be there.
How do we do the union then? Can you show
So,
it once again?
yeah,
On
yeah,
my screen, it is
absolutely.
showing the existing part.
You want me to do union and then relationship, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I had done it yesterday. I'll do it once again quickly. So for example, this is one, right? And we are creating union.
So Ishani, you have launched a new window for this.
Yes, because that other data set is not linked to this data set.
Understood.
But
That's
I'll
what
do it
I
on
was
Adventure Works,
okay.
right? So this data set is there. Then I'm going to add text file. And I want, let's say, all these files to be there. Customer. So it got added, right? So now over here, I can make relationships.
Correct.
Okay, but if I would have not done this part, and if I would have added a new connection, then I can't make relationship between them. Then the way we create relationship between them is through blending.
Understood.
That's the difference.
Thanks, Ishani.
You're welcome. So what is the data type of Amazing Mart? Or do one thing. I know you guys are tied up. It's Friday. Don't want to keep you waiting anymore. So keep this file ready on Tuesday. On Monday, we don't have any session. We are only having the assessment. I have given you the data set. Please go through the data set. I would love the fact if you've gone through the data set, understood the data set, loaded in your Power BI, made the relationship. If any kind of data type changes, any cleaning needs to happen, do that and keep it ready. That would be the best case scenario. On Monday, once you already have that file, all I have to do is introduce you to the business problem. And based on that, I'll give you a dashboard. I will give you a dashboard to work upon and you have to create it. So it will require DAX. It would require different kind of visualizations to be done, and cleaning and relationships you are doing by yourself ahead of time. So anything that we did right from transformation to the relationship building to DAX to the visualization, everything will be a part of it.
Okay,
Got
sure.
it?
So dashboard will be only for one page.
One page dashboard. That's it. One page, not more than that. No navigation would be there, no bookmarks would be there. Just one page dashboard to understand your visualization, understanding how you create a particular visualization, and there are going to be certain numbers on my dashboard which you have to get through DAX.
Ishani, could you please allow more than 1 hour?
You can take 1.5 hours, not more than that should be required. Okay, I'm not going to be very picky on the color combination and all that, but yes, layout is important. How you display it is going to be important. If I have icons on my dashboard and you don't put icons on the dashboard, that is also fine, because that is like putting, beautification that can take time. I'm not interested in that. But the basic structure of my dashboard and your dashboard should match. Layouting has to be done proper, not haphazard.
Okay.
So
Alright.
Ishani, the charts will be similar like what we have done in the class.
They have to
right?
be exactly matching mine. Yes.
Yes. And it's kind of what we have learned in the classes.
Out of syllabus.
I mean, it won't. I want a hint
Don't
from
worry.
you that it's going to be very simple,
Very simple, very similar to what you've done, the business problem. When you look at the data, also you will feel, oh yeah, this is the kind of business problem I've already worked on. So it's going to be easier to understand.
Okay, creating those DAX functions.
Correct.
And
That's will
measures
take
and
time.
columns. Measures and columns
Measures
we have
and
to create.
columns. Yes, yes.
So main problem is with that only.
I know, but I'm not giving you very complicated. I'm going to give you something. What I've taught is only what I can give. I can't give beyond that. And I don't like too many complications to be given in the assessment as it is, because I think in real life, when you start working there, if you get complications, you will do better versus these assessments.
So Ishani, we have a question like what DAX we need to create and what measures or column we need to
Right.
add. We have that
Based
question.
on the dashboard that you're going to look at, you will have to identify which column should I use to get it, or this kind of work I can get it through a column or a measure. That is going to be up to you to identify.
Okay, so we need to identify by looking the charts. So what we need to
I will
create.
give you the full dashboard and you have to replicate my dashboard.
So could you please provide before the assessment
For this assessment to what?
the dashboard part, so we can create the DAX part also.
Oh, then what is the assessment, Harshan?
No, only
And what is
that
the
part.
assessment going to be? Like, hi,
Because it will
Shani,
take,
this is your assessment.
it will take time, because it will take time.
And you have
for-
1.5 hours. I'm not giving you 100 DAX functions to do. But if I give you everything now, where is assessment? It's assignment then.
At least provide the question for DAX.
No way. No way. That is a real test. No way. So that we will not get. Let's keep some suspense for the end day.
Only calculated field only.
I'm giving you data set, enjoy the data set. Otherwise, I'll pull it out.
And Ishani,
I
modeling.
might just surprise you. If it was 1st of April, I would have said, okay, this is the data set and give you another data set for your test and say
No.
April Fool's Day.
And
No,
Ishani,
do that.
Yes, Vivek.
modeling part, it's already done, or we have to do?
It's not done. You have to do it. I am giving you the leverage of doing it over the weekend so that on Monday you don't have to work with it.
Okay. On the
Okay, so
same,
do it. Don't ask for extra time saying I did not do it. Then it's bad. Time is going to be fixed. Now, how you're going to utilize it? You want to put modeling and data cleaning and data understanding on the same day, or you want to do it ahead of time? That is your call. No
okay,
extra
you
time
will
will be given
provide,
beyond 1.5.
I mean, you will provide to the data sets to us, no?
I've already done that. It's in your LMS.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay. Don't overthink. Just prepare well, but just revise what we have done. Don't overthink.
can you tell how many
All right.
relations are there in this?
4 tables. There are only 4 tables, not much. All right.
Okay.
All right, Shani.
Oh,
All
okay,
right,
Shani.
guys. Take care.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Thank
weekend.
Ishani, one more question.
You
All the
too.
table,
Yes.
all the table have the same column.
Say that again.
All the table has the means.
No, they don't have
We
the
have to
same
create
data.
a
There are 4
relationship.
different tables. There are 4 different
The
tables. There are
common
4
column.
different data.
I'm talking about the common column. All the table have the common column.
This you will have to decipher on your own. Something you also do now. You guys are playing 20 questions with me and trying to get all the test paper out. Keep
Only
something
that part.
suspense.
Can you tell the relations only? Then only.
No.
That
Number
thing
of
only.
But
relations.
this you guys
Number
have
of
to know. See, you can't work with a client like that. Nah? You tell the client, you give me data, you tell me relationship, tell me what DAX you want, I'll create a dashboard for you. It won't work.
Yes.
Bye. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye, bye.
Bye, Shani.
I
Thank
think
you.
if I stay a
Bye,
little
Shani.
longer, I might just spill it out. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Shani.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Shani,
Yes,
I have
Shweta.
Yeah, I have a quick question on Tableau visualization part. As we understand all the charts, visualization, we need to keep in mind what exactly we need to show and all. But the point is, where and how, where I can quickly identify what are the big nodes. Like, no, this should not, we should not do at all. Like, I just want to share my screen.
Mm-hmm. and I will take you through a quick PowerPoint when everybody is there. Probably I'll take you through a quick PowerPoint to understand that part. I call it art of storytelling.
Yes, that's why, because I'm already dealing with, I'm just looking at all those information on Tableau. So just quick question. Question number 2, when you were you were explaining, and you were telling that the region part.
Put it in the filter. Your voice is cracking. Just turn off your video. I think your internet is slow and the video is taking the bandwidth. Yes, now tell me.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah, I just switch on to another laptop one. Yeah. So I just wanted to understand here. You were telling that in future we should keep the region part and all. Is there any big no in this scenario?
Like I said, typically you want, see, very simple thing. Very simple example, Shweta. So for example, you're going for shopping. Okay.
Yeah.
And in your mind, I want to buy a top, right? Now, what would you like? The salesperson to show you a top, a kurti, a pant, or only focus on top?
Yeah,
what will make you comfortable as an end user? Only on the top, right? Now, if things are related, like in top, if I give you variety, you don't mind that.
Okay.
Correct? Same thing is with the visualization. You have to understand what you want the person to focus. If I want the person to focus on the returns as per the region, I would give them one at a time as a filter.
Okay.
But if I want the end user to also say, okay, let me compare the regions also, and which regions are returning more and which one are returning less in the same time period, then this chart would be preferred.
Okay, so yeah, I just got your point. Whenever we needed any comparison point of view, then this is
and we
fine.
put multiple things together. Otherwise, keep it simple for the audience to understand what you're trying to show.
So whatever is asked, just put it that's it.
See, more colors, more visuals make your output more user dependent. If the user is smart, he or she will be able to understand, otherwise not. Okay, so we try to keep it as simple as possible.
I'm just asking because I have 5 delivery center, and sometimes I used to put my charts in that way. So if I was just asking from a user perspective.
Again, so from 5 delivery centers, right? Now 5 delivery centers, what does the team look at? Does the team look at individual delivery centers performance, or they also do a comparison of the delivery centers? So if it's an individual, filters. But if I would like to do a comparison, then I'll put it this way.
Okay.
Correct? Or I may have a dashboard which in one side has a static chart which has only comparison of the 5 delivery centers, and rest of the chart are controlled by based on which delivery center you are picking. It gives you detail of that.
Okay.
But whatever is the most important KPI, on that basis I've compared all the 4 or 5 delivery centers together.
Got your point. One more thing, I do have something called performance. Performance of, let's say, in my case, owners, let's say project owners. So in that also, like certain criteria I do have. Again, I just want to ask, is there any big no here?
Not really. See, over here, if I look at this chart, what I'm looking at as an end user is the performance of individual
bias
over the years.
Yes, individual.
Right? Then I'm able to get it. Yes. But if you wanted to do a comparison of the people,
then area chart.
Then this is a wrong chart type.
Yeah, area.
Then this is wrong.
Okay.
Right? So over here, my concentration. Okay, how did Alex do? He didn't do well in 2012, but then he picked up. Meredith is performing day by day better. Nora is performing day by day better. Sanjeet also did a phenomenal job from 13 to 14. That's what I'm reading. But if you put in 2011, Alex, Meredith, Nora, and Sanjeet, then my concentration is year-wise who performed better.
Understood. So it's basically individual versus comparison. Then our understanding will, our visualization will be different. Got your point. Thank you,
Yes.
Shani. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. All right, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.